Morning, gang. Happy Thursday. Sorry, I'm going to be here late today. There were certain things that came up overnight that I wanted to read into a little bit before coming on here and telling you. Obviously, I'm going to check and double check and do all that sort of stuff that I can. Make sure that I'm giving you the accurate information and not some bullshit. Okay, so a couple things, and I want to get in the meat of this. Overnight, you had NATO's Allied Land Command come out and say that we're ready. We're NATO, but NATO is ready to provide support to Ukraine. This came straight from the commander of NATO's Allied Land Command, Lieutenant General Roger Cloutier. Basically, he said, this is our opportunity and indeed our responsibility to provide ground support. It sends a powerful message when NATO corps commanders speak in one voice. So that tells you right there that if anything goes down, we're going to get involved in it. Fortunately, my opinion still, the hell are we doing there? Okay, this is not a battle we need to be fighting. Okay. So then another piece of news, and this kind of goes into what I was talking about yesterday in our analysis on Putin's speech, going back to the Stalinesque times of, if you don't agree with me, you're a spy. Well, there was a case a month or so back where a woman in Ukraine was sentenced to 12 years in jail for spying on behalf of Ukraine. Of course, it was a trial behind closed doors, and the Human Rights Commission in the Ukrainian parliament said the case was totally fabricated. That was a month ago, okay? But after Putin's speech yesterday, Russians Federal Security Service arrested a guy in Crimea for suspicion of treason for allegedly handing over secret information on Ukraine about Russia's Black Sea fleet. Okay, now, unless the guy is in the Russian Navy, which doesn't say that at all, they're not identifying the guy. What's the most this guy could be doing if he's on land talking about the Russian Black Sea Fleet? Oh, they have this many ships in this area of this kind. Okay? Now, granted, you don't have free speech and everything there. It's not a constitution like ours. Okay? But this is what I was talking about yesterday in regards to, if you don't agree with us, it's not if you're against us, you're against us. If you don't agree with us, you're against us. Okay? So, if any of you watched Constantine's video last night when he was at the protest, he said the police were filming him at one point, and that worries him, okay? That's the kind of society we're talking about, guys, okay? And this is where I said it goes back to 1937, 38, Stalin Russia, because, now just doing, unless you're completely towing the party line, you're an enemy of the state. And yeah, I know we kind of throw that term around here in the United States, but nobody's arresting us because we say that Joe Biden's a potato. Try saying that over there and you're going to raise some eyebrows real quick. Okay. So into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing this morning. I'm going to link this article down in the description. In the description, guys, so when everybody asks me, like you always do, what's my sources for this, go look in the description. The link will be there. Okay. But Daigle, if you know who that is, Daigle is a resource, if you will, that assesses military capabilities of the world. All right. Daigle put out its population prediction for 2025, and it ain't pretty. They are saying the United States and Europe population will decrease by 70%. Okay. Now, I'm not, there's only so far I can, the reason I want to link this article is there's only so much I can say without our friends at YouTube saying I'm spreading misinformation or whatever it is. Okay, I'm quoting something else here, and I want to put this there for you guys to read. So to get the full story on this, please go read the link. All right, it's kind of interesting. But what you're looking at, and this kind of goes into what a lot of us have said, all right? You know, it's like, oh, we don't think it's going to be a nuclear war or whatever. And I've said this many times. I agree, because any of our adversaries, Australian adversaries, European adversaries, or, you know, I mean, not ours, just American, but I mean, Western, okay? They want the land, okay? They just don't want the people. All right, that's pretty much it. You know, you look at China talking about, you know, needing farmland. Well, gee, okay, they're buying stuff in North Africa to farm, but, you know, the United States be a lot better. You know, you look at the same thing with Russia or anything like that, going through what they're doing right now, going through Europe for whatever reasons, natural resources, food, you know, the reasons that I believe that they're going through. So nuclear doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, to defeat a territory, a country, whatever it would be, and leave the whole place glowing doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. So, you know, this is why a lot of us have talked about an EMP. That's still a possibility. What Daigle is saying, which is very much a possibility, is biological. And that makes complete sense, especially when they talk about how that could be carried out. Very simply, you know, it's not difficult to send a couple of things through the mail with, you know, let's just put it this way, more serious coronavirus, and let it spread on its own. Or, as the article says, you know, send a couple of infected tourists somewhere, and, you know, which is kind of how we think COVID was done in the first place. So, you know, again, read this article, because not a whole lot I can talk about, but it's important that you guys know it. You know, and of course, the article mentions who could be the number one player in this, and I think we all have an idea where that would be, considering that, you know, there are 19 other labs that are being created that are similar to the one that is in question. So, you know, something to kind of look into, but those are kind of things that came out overnight that I wanted y'all just to be aware of what's going on. Today's the meeting between Putin and Lukashenko, so we're going to see what happens with Belarus and how they align with Russia, because, you know, somehow that information eventually is going to get out. It's a closed-door meeting, but, you know, the whole world knows this is going on and wants to know what's up. So we'll see if there's any major comments that come out of that, but if there is, obviously I'll bring it. If it's nothing, if they're going to talk about infrastructure and food, you know, if that's all that comes out to the public, you know, then obviously I'm not going to waste your time. But all right, so that's a simple overnight kind of recap of what's going on and what's to look at. But, you know, 70% depopulation, that tells me, if anything, you know, keep prepping. Like I said, I've said many times, are you prepared to live only on your property? Okay, because I mean, if there's some bio disease that's spreadable, okay, you're not going to want to go anywhere, you know. And again, we're preppers. The idea, if Daigle is by chance correct, our idea is to be part of the 30%, not the 70%. So keep stacking, keep stocking, keep growing, keep doing everything you are. Pay attention. You know, we're in the late innings of the baseball game here, guys. So let's just keep doing what we're doing. That's going to be how we wind up coming out the other side of this. Have a good Thursday. Pinball out.